welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight into a deeply unsettling, chilling paranormal account straight out of Punjab. We're going to impartially unpack the rapid, terrifying escalation of a reported haunting, look at the psychological and physical toll it allegedly took, and then transition into the fascinating cultural folklore surrounding these entities. Finally, we'll break down the practical, spiritual remedies suggested by the source to ward off negative energy and invite success. Let's get right into it.
So, let's bypass the usual pleasantries and step directly onto a dark, rain-soaked bus stand where this whole eerie narrative begins. We really have to set the scene to understand the sheer panic that unfolded here. What exactly happened that night in Punjab to trigger such a massive, bizarre chain of events?
Well, according to the source, picture this. A driver and a conductor had just finished a grueling shift in pouring rain. Wanting to avoid a clash with rival government bus drivers, they decided to park their private bus at a notoriously empty, abandoned stand for the night. But this wasn't just any empty lot. They parked right next to a broken back wall that was steeped in some seriously unsettling local legends. Just by trying to avoid a mundane conflict, they inadvertently set the stage for a massive supernatural encounter.
The timeline of how this escalating encounter played out is absolutely wild. It builds so rapidly from a strange visual into a full-on terrifying physical confrontation. Right around midnight, the conductor heads to the restroom and is shocked to see a woman literally walk right through a solid brick wall. He tries to shake it off, but by 1 a.m., the driver, who stayed safely inside the bus, suddenly sees an entity knocking on his window. The terrifying part? That knock came from an impossible 8 feet in the air. Finally, at 1:30 a.m., the terrified conductor actually lashes out, slapping the entity in the dark, only to be violently thrown to the bathroom floor by an unseen force. And after all that, the bus is completely disabled. It just refused to start.
You can really feel the conductor's initial confusion in the source material. Before the violence broke out, he genuinely thought he was dealing with a living human being. He shouted, "Who are you? What is a girl doing in the gents' toilet at 2 a.m.?" But that perfectly normal confusion quickly turned to sheer terror when a long, chilling, completely unnatural laugh echoed back at him from the darkness. At that moment, it was instantly clear to him this was absolutely no ordinary late-night staff member.
Which brings us to the next phase, the possession, a truly terrifying ordeal. You see, the haunting didn't just stay at that abandoned bus stand, it attached itself. The explainer details how the entity allegedly followed the driver all the way home, resulting in a severe, chaotic possession that totally upended his life and terrified his family.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the source describes the driver's possession manifesting. It wasn't just typical spooky stuff like strange noises in the house. The behaviors were highly specific and bizarre. Get this. The driver abruptly canceled his upcoming love marriage, claiming he suddenly had a violent hatred for women and actually wanted to ruin his fiancée's future. And his physical mannerisms completely changed too. He started climbing the stairs of his house on all fours like an animal. He would dance alone on the roof at 1:30 a.m. every single night and sit in pitch darkness devouring massive packets of raw, dry rusks.
The narrative tracks a chaotic and deeply unsettling struggle for control, as the driver's family desperately tried to intervene. And man, the entity fiercely resisted any kind of help. On day 1, while being driven to a spiritual healer, the possessed driver actually grabbed the steering wheel and tried to crash the car at 100 kilometers per hour. Day 2, he exhibited this terrifying, unnatural strength, effortlessly snapping 4 fingers of a local healer. By day 3, when his family tried using a spiritual cleansing spray in the house, he reacted so violently that he locked himself in a room and began physically beating himself.
Moving on to the second part of our explainer, the witch's secret and folklore archetypes. To understand exactly why this specific driver was targeted so aggressively and why the entity was so determined to ruin his life, we need to delve right into the folklore archetype presented by the expert in the source.
And that brings us to the fascinating cultural belief system surrounding this specific entity. In local Indian folklore, a churel is defined as a spirit trapped in our realm by overwhelmingly strong, unfulfilled desires. Often it's someone who tragically passed away right before a major life milestone, like a marriage or childbirth. This context is absolutely vital. It brilliantly illustrates that her extreme rage isn't just random chaotic malice. It actually stems from deep, unresolved worldly desires.
So the crucial point here is the entity's underlying motive, and it's captured perfectly in this haunting quote from the source's interview with the possessed man. Speaking directly through the driver, the entity snarled, "If I couldn't get married, how will I let him?"
Right there, she reveals her intense, burning jealousy over the driver's upcoming nuptials. She's literally using his own body as a vessel to sabotage the exact kind of happiness she was denied in life.
The speaker in the source notes that through their spiritual communication, they uncovered a heartbreaking truth. The entity was once a young girl who was tragically poisoned by her own family at that exact bus stand, dying right there while waiting to elope with her lover. By finally acknowledging her painful backstory and the fact that she never even got to see her lover before passing away, the speaker claims they were finally able to pacify her and release her intense hold on the driver.
All right, let's look at Section 3, Protection from Negative Energy. Shifting gears from this incredibly eerie narrative, we're going to pivot to the actionable, practical advice the speaker shared. Because really, how do you keep these kinds of heavy, negative energies out of your own daily life? According to the expert, creating this simple 2-ingredient aura cleansing spray is a highly effective method for continuously clearing negative energy from your environment. It's super straightforward. Step 1, you take pure Ganga Jal, or holy water. Step 2, add crushed alum, commonly known as fitkari, straight into the water. And step 3, spray it around the corners of your home and lightly over yourself. The source claims this simple mixture is incredibly potent at clearing out negative thoughts and keeping dark entities at bay.
The source also outlines some truly fascinating folklore indicators of a severe negative presence in a home. Watch out for sudden, unexplainable physical ailments, or strange dark patches suddenly appearing on the skin. But a major red flag? Your household animals. The source heavily emphasizes that animals, like cows or dogs, are almost always the first to sense the danger. They might behave fearfully, outright refuse to enter the home, or fall mysteriously ill. You might also notice unnatural pungent smells, dragging sounds at night, or even find yourself suddenly stuttering uncontrollably when trying to recite spiritual mantras.
Which brings us to Part 4, Special Remedies for Attracting Success. Beyond just basic protection from the paranormal, the final segment of our explainer breaks down the specific mystical remedies the speaker provided to actively attract success and unblock frustrating obstacles in your life. For instance, if you're looking for an instant boost in social influence, the speaker claims this exact Cardamom 24 method acts as a powerful magnet for fame and respect. The steps are oddly specific, but very simple. You take a single piece of green cardamom, write the number 24 on it using specifically a green gel pen, and then just keep it in your pocket for a day. According to the folklore shared, this small, simple act draws positive attention and actually elevates your social standing. Now, for those facing stalled finances, pending loans, or looming debts, the source suggests this straightforward spice sprinkle. All you do is mix dry cinnamon powder and turmeric together. Then, take this dry mixture and sprinkle it across all the main entrance gates of your house. The claim here is that this acts quickly to release blocked money and bring some very welcome, unexpected financial relief.
And for anyone out there dreaming of building their own house, there's this really fascinating 3-step ritual using a construction brick that is said to yield tangible results. First, you bring a single brick from an active construction site. Second, keep it safely in your current rented or temporary residence. And third, sprinkle Ganga Jal on it daily while praying for your own home. The speaker claims that people who follow this often see a path to homeownership open up in just 3 months.
Finally, if you're facing a specific high-stakes moment, like a big job interview or a major life event, the speaker recommends this targeted lemon and clove technique. You take 1 fresh lemon, pierce it with exactly 3 cloves, and place it at the feet of a Hanumanji idol before your important task. It's an old folklore method meant to proactively clear invisible obstacles straight from your path to success. However, as this brilliantly illustrates, the source insists on a massive caveat here. None of these mystical steps will work unless you are already putting in the dedicated, real-world effort. The speaker heavily emphasizes that spiritual remedies absolutely do not replace hard work. They only act as a catalyst to speed up the efforts you're already making. Let's be real. You can't just put a lemon in a temple and expect a job offer if you haven't actually submitted your resume.
As we wrap up this exploration of supernatural claims and cultural remedies, we have to ask a profound question. Whether you believe in the literal paranormal, or you attribute all of this to pure psychology and the placebo effect, how much power does belief truly have over our lives? Can our deeply held cultural folklore actually shape the reality we experience every day? It's a pretty fascinating thought to leave you with. Keep learning, keep questioning, and thank you for joining us on this explainer.